How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Monday, 22nd of July, 2024. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a moment and hit that thumbs up button if you're over on Rumble or YouTube. Smash that heart if you're over on X. Take that red pill if you're ever on Pilled. It's like a little virtual hug for us. And with everything going on in the world, I could use all the virtual hugs I could get right now.
It's a strange July, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
It is a strange July. Hey, Aaron, what's going on?
Thank you for saying we rock.
Thank you.
Rock
Appreciate
too.
that. Also giving a shout out to F. Clen there because Aaron has to,
Yes.
let him know that he was
Let
here
him know
first. Yeah.
first.
Okay.
He was
Straight.
first.
Oh, there he did say that as a matter of fact. Strange July. Definitely entertaining though. Yes, it's much
Exactly.
easier to eat the popcorn when it's
And
entertaining.
Aaron wasn't just first on Rumble, he was first on Pilled too.
What?
Yeah.
Aaron's and Aaron also gave us a cookie over there too.
Yes, he did. Thank
Yes, he
you,
did.
Aaron.
Thank you,
You're
Aaron.
amazing.
You're awesome.
There's F. Clen.
What's up, F. Clen?
Got Chachi in the house.
Chachi. I didn't see him.
There
Where
is
is it?
that
Oh, there you are.
cookie.
Hey,
Thank you, Miss
Chachi.
Bethany Ann, for moving that over.
Bethany Ann.
Got Light Spear.
Got
in
Light
there.
Spear. What's up, Light Spear?
Thank you for saying we rock.
We appreciate that.
Yep, Agent Smith, please take your little dog and go home.
What's going on,
Go
Agent
go
Smith?
see Cackles.
And your little dog too.
Go see Cackles. Got Miss Wendy in the house.
What's up, Wendy?
Hello, Miss Renee. How
Hi,
are
Renee.
you? I'm glad you can't wait for this one. It's going to
They
be good.
roasted her so bad.
Mhm.
Oh, and like she had a long day today.
Yeah.
The head of the Secret Service. Yeah, she definitely had a long day.
Got Steph in the house.
What's going on, Steph? How you doing?
Let's see.
Getting
Watching
through.
on my phone instead of Roku.
All right, nice, nice.
Hubby's watching nature videos. Hey,
Hey,
hubby.
hey, hubby, in the background there. How you doing?
Got Mike in the house.
What's going on, Mike?
Got Miss Tammy in the house.
Tammy, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Nevada Strong.
Yes, it was glorious.
I wished I could have watched all of it. Yeah, I know. There's just not enough hours in the day to watch all of the things. And I tried to watch it, but there was whatever. Anyways.
I know. What are you gonna do?
Well, complain, whine. I'm gonna whine about it.
Okay. Well,
dye my hair blue. Vote Democrat.
Oh, I got some videos about that tonight.
Go Cackles.
Go Cackles. So we are going to start with Director Asshole. I mean, Cheadle.
The cheater?
Cheater.
Cheadle.
Cheadle.
Cheetah?
Cheetah.
Cheadle. Oh.
Bitch.
Oh, whoa. Calm down.
Well,
yeah. Just let it roll.
I'm fine.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right.
The Secret Service has an annual budget of around $3.1 billion, and I believe around 8,000 employees. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, there were many security failures on the day of the attempted assassination and leading up to that day. Let's start with the building that the shooter used to shoot President Trump from. At any point Saturday, did the Secret Service have an agent on top of that roof?
Sir, I'm sure as you can imagine that we are just 9 days out from this incident and there's still an ongoing investigation. And so I want to make sure that any information that we are providing to you is factual.
You can't, okay. Why did the Secret Service not, can you answer why the Secret Service didn't place a single agent on the roof?
We are still looking into the advanced process and the decisions that were made.
Okay. Wasn't that building within the perimeter that should be secured? Do we agree with that?
The building was outside of the perimeter on the day of the visit. But again, that is one of the things that during the investigation, we want to take a look at and determine whether or not other decisions should have been made.
One of the things that you said, I believe in an interview, that there wasn't an agent on the roof because it was a sloped roof. Is that normal? And do you fear that immediately creates an opportunity for future would-be assassins to look for a slanted roof? I mean, this is a huge question that every American has. Why wasn't a Secret Service agent on the roof? And there have been reports that agents were supposed to be on the roof, but it was hot that day and they didn't want to be on the roof. Can you answer any of those questions, Director?
So I appreciate you asking me that question, Chairman. I should have been more clear in my answer when I spoke about where we placed personnel in that interview. What I can tell you is that there was a plan in place to provide overwatch, and we are still looking into responsibilities and who was going to provide overwatch. But the Secret Service in general, not speaking specifically to this incident, when we are providing overwatch, whether that be through counter snipers or other technology, prefer to have sterile rooftops.
Did the Secret Service use any drones for surveillance that day?
So again, I'm not going to get into specifics of that day in itself, but there are times during a security plan that the Secret Service does deploy an asset like a drone.
There were reports that the shooter used a drone just a few hours before the rally start time. Is that accurate?
I have heard those same reports, and again, am waiting for the final report.
Do you know, if you can't answer the question, that's your answer. But can you answer this? Do you know?
And we already said hi to Agent Smith.
I know. We said hi to him.
Mr. Anderson. Interesting. So, really, long story short, that was about all the information we got out of her today.
I have more videos.
I'm sure we do, because it was pretty epic. Everything that I had seen, she just got, flambéed.
Mhm.
It was actually kind of painful to watch because she didn't have any allies. And the Democrats, normally they would be on her side, but even they were asking for her resignation today, is one of the things I had seen. And then not only that, I mean, Democrats being Democrats, they're trying to take advantage of the opportunity to say, oh, it's assault weapons. But, it's,
Yeah.
whatever. It's just worse. Lucky.
Exactly. Got Jonathan in the house.
What's up, Jonathan?
So I'm
And
going
then-
to play this one.
Yeah, Strange July is truly the year 2024.
Yeah.
Everything's looking like what he was talking about when he was going by the months. Kim Clement, that is that
Got a
this
video from
it was
him
going to be
tonight, too.
20. Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, it's this year 2024. It is 24, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. Here's another one.
All right.
Director, what time?
So the Secret Service was aware that there was an individual who had been identified as suspicious, and that individual was attempting to be tracked down.
At what time?
I don't have a specific timeline other than to tell
Director,
you,
it's been 9 days.
I
At
understand
what
that.
time?
I want to make sure that I give you factual information, sir.
Director, have you talked to the agents on the ground that day?
Yes, I have.
You've talked to all of them.
Mhm.
Your senior team has talked to every agent that was on the ground that day.
Yes, we have.
Have they all corroborated the same time they identified the shooter or they were made aware of the shooter either by attendees in the crowd or local police department?
There are a number of reports of when those times were made.
Was it
those
5 minutes
notifications.
before the first shot rang out?
No,
Generally speaking, was it 10 minutes before the first shot rang out?
no. It
Was it
le-
15 minutes before the first shot rang out?
It was less than that time frame when it was identified as a threat.
How many days before the shooting took place did Secret Service actually do their advance work to secure the facility that the rally was going to be held at?
5 days.
In the 5 days prior, when the security advance team did their work, did they identify the rooftop as a potential threat?
Again, I'm pulling those reports and that information.
It's been 9
to
days,
conduct those
Madam
interviews.
Director. Did they notice a rooftop 150 yards away that was a potential threat? Yes or no?
I am certain that the rooftop was noticed. I am pulling the reports.
What was the security parameters around securing that rooftop?
There
What
was,
did they do?
there was overwatch provided for that rooftop.
Did Overwatch fail?
I am waiting to hear what the results of the investigation were so that I can identify where the failure was.
Who did you talk to that was on the ground that day that was responsible for Overwatch? What are their names?
I'm not going to provide their names in this setting.
Did you talk to the people that were providing Overwatch that day?
I've talked to the people that conducted the advance on that day and that were working the shift and were the counter snipers on that day.
So you talked to the counter sniper team. You talked to the people who were providing Overwatch that day, and you talked to the advanced team, correct?
Yes, sir.
What did they tell you?
We are putting together a comprehensive report so that I can identify exactly where the gaps and the failures.
When the counter sniper team was on the roof and they identified that there was suspicious activity on the roof in question, what was the chain of command's orders around the person on said roof? Because I'm quite sure somebody saw in under your organization, the Secret Service, I'm quite sure somebody saw the shooter on the roof. So what was the communication through the chain of command to deal with said person?
What I can tell you is that when the individual was identified by the counter sniper, they took one shot and neutralized that individual.
But that was after the shooter already took a shot. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So what you're saying now is that the Secret Service did not see the shooter on the roof until after the shooter took a shot?
I do not have all of those details at this time.
If you don't have those details after 9 days, Director, then what you're telling me is that you guys didn't see it. Is that correct?
I am telling you, I don't have all the details of the sequence at this time.
Director, it's been 9 days. Either you have the information or you do not. Is that correct?
We are still in the process of conducting interviews and an investigation.
Some of my colleagues have texted me over the last couple days, bipartisan, about whether you should lose your job. And I've been quiet on that question because I wanted to see what you were going to do today. In my opinion, you do need to be fired immediately. And it is because this is gross incompetence. And the fact that it's been 9 days, and these are simple questions to answer. I'm quite sure if I asked any one of my kids if they got in trouble and I told them to give me the details, I would get more answers from them than I'm getting from you right now. And that's what's frustrating on a bipartisan basis, on a nonpartisan basis. This is a joke. And Director, you're in charge. And that's why you need to go. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
About Santino.
Well, I mean, it's like he tore her up, and she basically said, yeah, we have no idea when we had seen the shooter, which is a ridiculous statement, and nobody's going to accept that. Aaron says we're still in the process of covering up our participation in the failed attempt. That's what I hear. That's exactly what I hear, because there's too much weird stuff going on, and for them to not have any answers whatsoever and not even be able to say that they would cover an area that a standard AR would cover. Like, that should be a minimum distance, but whatever. Denise says, pretty sure I wouldn't be able to get my ass handed to me so soundly as she did today, not without an utter meltdown. Yeah, well, that's because she has absolutely no moral compass whatsoever, other than how can I advance my career so that way I can be at the top of the totem pole, is all I'm seeing personally. Yeah, Mike, our whole government is incompetent, 100%. 100% incompetent. At least they're not showing us anything otherwise. And even the Democrats were saying, you're making this very difficult. I wish I could remember who said it, but it was, oh, there you go. It was, there's just so much there. How
Much
many more
love,
videos
Renee.
do we have about this?
I have 2 more.
2 more?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, then I guess I'll just go ahead and wait, because I know that there were some things that were said that I normally would point out, like, okay, an AR-15, it's 550 meters to a point target is its accuracy. You figure you'd at least go out to 550 meters, but that's not even standard. If anybody knows what they're doing, plus they had the understanding that there was a state actor that's looking at taking out President Trump as well. So therefore, they're going to need to push that perimeter out even further than that, to a point target to anything and up to including, at least a 308, 30-06 kind of range.
It was a beat down, Fire Nate, and welcome to the show.
Hey,
sir.
Fire Nate, thanks for showing up. It's just on the basic level, just an entry level soldier an entry-level Marine that just got done with boot camp would have been able to set up a better security perimeter than the crap that we saw coming out of the Secret Service. And then this him and Han, and it was brought up specifically that she had said it, that the transparency will prevent the conspiracy theories from coming out, but yet they've waited 9 days and this is what we've got. And they pointed out, and a couple of things where the slope of the roof was so minimal, the slope of the roof is actually ADA compliant, is something that I heard today. So you could take a wheelchair up there and be just fine. But the Secret Service couldn't, but yet they put the counter snipers on a roof that had a much higher pitch than what that shooter was on. That just absolutely everything about this stinks to high hell. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. They, them scout at Rainbow Camp could have done a better job at Santino unless she was doing exactly as ordered. And that's the best thing that I can come up with is it looks like that she knows that she's going to end up having to take all the heat. She knows that she's going to be left out to dry. And so she's their sacrificial lamb. And that sacrificial lamb is going to be there to try to protect some of the other people, to make somebody that comes in that's at least somewhat qualified to do that position, that they have to figure out the hard way which bad apples they got to get rid of. F. Glenn says, I like all the videos of cows on sloped roofs. Yeah, it sure ain't like the old days. This type of cover-up would have taken years to expose. Anons know how to research now. There's nowhere to hide losers and evildoers. There is nowhere to hide. They will be found out, and it's getting found out at such a rapid pace. And that's an excellent point, Denise. I mean, they really are. Like, people are asking the questions now, and with millions of people looking and pointing out, you know, hey, there's something wrong with that. It just makes it that much easier for everybody to try to get to the truth a lot sooner than what we saw with the Kennedy assassination. Wendy says Trump's ear had barely any damage for an AR-15. Yeah, but the thing is like there's nothing there. It's just a little bit of cartilage. Nothing's going to stop it. Nothing. It's not even going to be enough to make it tumble because the round is moving so fast, especially at that close of a distance. That'll be a through and through easy, no problem. And so, yeah, there shouldn't be a whole lot of damage to his ear. It's not like it was a 50 cal where you catch somebody's ear and it spins them around or something like that. It was, in the end, a fast moving 22 bullet.
Right. You ready?
Yeah.
I don't know who prepared you for this. I don't know how many times you've testified in front of Congress, but a president was almost assassinated live on television, not just for Americans, but for the world to see. And this being your first opportunity, I understand there's an ongoing investigation. I understand there's things that you can not talk about, but the idea that we're getting less than you did on television is something that Democrats, independents, or Republicans are going to find unacceptable. Once it's concluded, you're prepared to fire the people on the ground who made poor decisions that day.
I'm prepared to take the actions
No,
necessary.
that's nonsense. Okay. Accountability. The failure was human. That doesn't mean they're bad people. It means they failed that day. And a former president was almost assassinated.
I don't have an answer as to whether it
Well,
was
then how can there be
people-
accountability if you're not prepared to fire someone? And the reason why your name is going to be the person who's held accountable, the reason why members in this committee are calling for resignation, and I join in that, or for the president to fire you, is because you're saying there's going to be accountability, but you can't commit that people are going to get fired.
She's not even going to commit to saying that somebody's going to need to lose their job.
We are over target.
Yeah, we're
Hi,
over the
Miss
target.
Carol.
Hey, Carol. She's not even prepared to fire somebody. It is a zero fail organization.
I agree, Aaron.
Damn, she pours more BS out of her mouth than all the cows left in the U.S. She's either soulless, arrogant, or medicated. Probably a combination of all three.
I'm going to go with all three.
Yeah,
Denise.
I think the.
Hey, Brother
yeah.
Bill.
Hey, Brother Bill, what's going on? Thanks for joining,
I
man.
think we are over target because, I mean, like all of a sudden things are glitchy, but we got a lot to talk about.
There's a lot of stuff going on. And this just shows that the Secret Service is much more like the Keystone Cops. I'm gonna say that it might have something to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion, but I'm gonna hold my judgment on that one. Tracy says in the very beginning of that video, did you see the girl in the back laughing when he stated about Trump being seriously bloody? No, I actually missed that. She was laughing in the background. You know, I did not see that. I'd have to watch that one again. Thank you for pointing that out.
The movie did just get good in the last few days.
It
Hey,
is-
Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
And by the way, welcome, Tracy. Ryan
Cannot
says there's
afford
no
having
room
error.
for error in the Secret Service. They need to be 100% all of the time and cannot afford to have an error ever.
Exactly, Ryan. It's 100% accurate. They don't have room because when they make mistakes, and apparently there was a mistake a week ago Saturday.
I have to read this for
It was
for
very
Agent
lucky.
Smith because
Oh,
it's
okay.
from our family.
There we go.
Dear Agent Smith, welcome. Sit down. Take a load off. Don't touch your keyboard or mouse. Just hang on. We welcome all converts. Converts.
Yeah.
Best.
Dominoes and biscuits.
Dominoes and biscuits.
There you go. Don't be surprised when Democrats and Republicans are involved. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and I'm
Hey,
still
Chops.
waiting to see what's going to happen with the Democratic convention because they recognize that Trump got a huge boost, and I can see them wanting to take advantage of that scenario as well. Chop says, if failure is a success, vector in federal government, then someone will be taking her job very soon. Yeah. Yeah. And I do believe that that she will be out of her job here real quick. Like, I don't think it's going to be much longer. Like I said, they're gonna bring her to the altar and use her as the sacrificial lamb, so that way they can keep their other pieces in place at the Secret Service. But I don't know how well that's going to work, especially with everybody investigating anymore.
Mhm.
And now there's some rumor about some kind of DEA agent or something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to find out about that.
I know. You ready?
Yep.
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Well, that's bull.
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of today. You're just being completely dishonest.
She she went after her like a pit bull.
Hard.
So bad. And she just called her out.
Mhm.
And that was one of the spots that I actually got to watch, and that was a good one too. She would not let her get away with anything, and she only asked her yes or no questions and would only
Mhm.
accept yes or no answers. So it was being set up for some legal action in the future. Denise says Nancy Mace wins the internet today. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, she definitely wins one free internet today. There's no doubt about that. That there was an okay, so that the other shooter was potentially ATF agent is kind of what I'm hearing. And then yeah, there was some confusion because of I guess he was doing some investigating. They traced it back to an ATF phone, and so now there's a lot more questions about that.
Right.
Yeah, Nancy Mace. There you go.
Yeah. No, I don't like Chihuahua eyes either, but she did call her out because she can't, be seen as the only person not calling her out.
Yeah, well, not just that. I think actually AOC was almost sounding like a Republican today. It was kind of weird. It was like, who is this and who's writing her script? But definitely AOC was asking some right questions. And then one of the other things that I was kind of noticing is that they all seemed to be very concerned, and they didn't come right out and say that it's for their own personal protection. But I have a feeling that they know that these are the people that do the protection. They know that these people can be the problem. And so I think that they were I think that there's a reason why even the left was a little bit nervous about this one. I think that it highlighted something that hits too close to home for them and their own personal whatever it is, because they seem to be a little bit scared, and I didn't understand that.
Chihuahua eyes sounded normal.
Yeah, she sounded kind of normal today.
Huh.
Yeah, it was strange.
know.
Strange. It's July,
Yeah, I know.
but it's strange July.
Wow, everyone's saying okay.
Yeah,
All right, you ready?
yeah.
Moving on.
Maybe she's pushing for a VP spot.
Ugh. Are you ready?
Oh, look, it's a water tower. God, who would want to go on one of those?
Well, just pay attention.
Hmm.
Historically, government assassinations are often carried out with a patsy to take the fall and a professional or team of professionals to execute the target. This ensures success and gives the appearance that there was no conspiracy. It all gets blamed on a mentally disturbed lone gunman. But the alleged would-be Trump assassin was willing to go on a suicide mission. It was an easy shot, and he had at least 5 years of marksmanship training. The independent work of Asget Industries shows how our young suicide assassin could have been the lone gunman. But she is restricted to using the limited information we have gotten. According to the sound analysis of Mike Adams, there were at least 3 shooters.
I think round 1 is probably Crooks. Round 2 is Crooks. Round 3 is Crooks. I think these 3 rounds are Crooks. It's my guess. Rounds 4 and 5 are from the same distance as Crooks, but they are not Crooks. I think rounds 4 and 5, right here. I think rounds 4 and 5 are from a rogue Secret Service team in the building that Crooks was on top of. So that's my guess. Round 6 is from medium range sniper. Round 7 is long range sniper.
Several witnesses that day claimed that there was a second shooter in the water tower.
And I just screamed, it's the sniper, and he was firing down toward the water tower.
That's what we're hearing.
Fox News live streamed the following testimony, but omitted it from final edits.
The fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence. And still, obviously, initial reports.
NBC live streamed the following testimony of a woman who was in the front row.
He could see the sharpshooter behind Trump. He said the sharpshooter shot to the left. He killed the gentleman in the water tower here.
And omitted the following from the final edit.
Now they feel that there was 2 shooters on both sides. So they got the one on the tower on this side, but the one on the right side, they never got. So that's why they wanted us to leave immediately, because they thought there's still a shooter out there somewhere. I'm glad that guy's no longer with us anymore in that tower. And I hope they get the other one too.
Images of the water tower show a shadow at the very top. Frame-by-frame analysis shows what could be described as muzzle flash or the reflection of a scope lens. Before any shots were fired, police were seen running towards the water tower.
Oh, wow. Where are they running to?
Multiple shooters makes more sense, but then how did they miss? Many are insisting that it was a staged event to inflame Trump's popularity.
We still don't know for sure whether Donald Trump was hit by a bullet, whether he was hit by glass fragments, whether he was hit by shrapnel. We don't have those details. We actually have no details from his physician, even though this man is still a Secret Service protected, and presidential candidate. We knew almost nothing. Why? Why don't we know that much? We don't know why for 9 full seconds, Donald Trump was allowed to stand back up during an active shooter situation, even though they at that point had said the shooter was down. How would they have known if there were more shooters or not? Nobody knew that there could have been 5 shooters for all they knew. Yet they allowed him to stand up in the middle of that, crisis and pose for a photo and fist pump the air so he could get the iconic photo. And then they allowed him to stand up again outside of the SUV instead of just shoving him into the SUV. That seems really unusual. What is the actual injury to Donald Trump's ear that's under that bandage? Shouldn't we know that by now?
If it was fake, it was a flawless performance. And if it was authentic, it was not only sloppy, it was a millimeter away from chaos. Either way, Trump is now seen by many religious people as being ordained by God, and by others as being the Antichrist, who believers have been expecting to survive an assassination attempt. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
Thought Santino.
The like when we first saw it, when we were watching it on the Saturday, not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, when all this was going on, that was one of the things that was being pointed out is why are they keeping him in one spot so that he's an easier target? Why are they not moving him? One of the Congress people in the very beginning of the grilling of Doritos gal or Cheeto or whatever, Cheerios, whatever her name is.
Cheeto.
Yeah, Cheeto.
Cheeto.
One of the things that that was pointed out right away was the fact that why did it take so long? She had no answer for that, and she tried to deflect because the job is of those people to get the protectee out of there. And so, yeah, it did look fake. It did look staged in a lot of ways. But in retrospect, as I'm looking at this, it looked like a bunch of people that were waiting on orders, that were not trained properly, that we were very lucky. I think that it was the divine the divine providence that occurred in this is what made the whole thing look fake. And that's what the problem is. So I can understand why people are getting at that, because like if it was a real operation, if Iran was truly involved, if there were people that actually knew what they were doing when they were trying to execute this assassination attempt, that if it would have been the same kind of caliber of people as it was back in the 60s, then this wouldn't have looked like this. We'd be telling a very different story at this point in time. But that's not what's happening. And this is what it looks like when people, I guess, recognize that they don't want to be a part of that. And or at least the people that are thinking have no desire to be a part of that. But they've been going after these cronies for so long that they had to get people that they could lord over this whole time, because the people that moved up weren't as smart as the people who were doing it way back in the day. So therefore, the quality of their craft sucks now. And so we got lucky there, but that's just now. If there was an actual like foreign national actor that was doing this, Trump wouldn't be here right now, because they wouldn't use an AR. They wouldn't, make these same kinds of mistakes, especially on such a softball that was put out there for the Secret Service to try to get on top of. Bill says, well, Trump has confessed Jesus Christ. The Antichrist will deny Jesus. Fact, end of story. Excellent point, Bill. And so that kind of shuts that one down. Now, if she would just read the Bible, then maybe she would hear that part and then, come to the truth. But, hey, we're all on our path to the truth in a very different time frame. Chachi says many mainstream media should hang for their role in not only inspiring the political violence, that's an excellent point, but also playing a role in downplaying the attempt. They'd be public. They'd lose their public trust.
They've lost.
They've lost their public trust entirely. Yes, they have. Thank you. Anyway, that's an excellent point. The press has lost all credibility at this point in time, so nobody's turning to them anymore. Even the people on the left don't trust the media, and if you're in the media, that's got to be a bad day. But hey, you're still getting your advertising money, so that's all that matters, right? Anyway. Ryan says this is supposed to be the Secret Service, an elite team. Even the military with foot soldiers move their own out of the fire zone when they get shot. Yeah. If you're going to throw a whole bunch of bodies on top of somebody, that means that the zone is safe to move in at that point in time, as opposed to just sitting in some kind of a turtle configuration, a meat shield.
Turtle.
A meat shield is only going to do so much. And there were plenty of pictures when they were in that huddle where you could make out President Trump. Again, thank God that the incompetence was everywhere and not just with the Secret Service. What's up, Hope? Thanks for joining.
You ready?
Yes.
Got another one.
All right. But wait, there's more.
Are we being told the truth about how many snipers were at the Trump rally? Listen very closely to the police scanner and the eyewitness accounts from that day.
Shots fired towards the blue water tank. That's right.
Started trying to go after them then when they finally let us up. And they had been right by the fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence. And still, obviously, initial reports.
First crack of the gunfire, and I just screamed, "It's the sniper! It's the sniper!" And he was firing down toward the water tower.
That's what we're hearing.
Well, what I've heard coming out here is now they feel that there was two shooters on both sides. So they got the one on the tower on this side, but the one on the right side they never got. So that's why they wanted us to leave immediately, because they thought there's still a shooter out there somewhere. So there could be in these woods around Butler.
How are there so many witnesses and even police audio of a sniper on the water tower and we've heard nothing about it?
Take a look at what's just outside this building. We're looking at a water tower that has a perfect angle. If somebody were up here to have a shot at Trump, take a look at this angle right here. This would actually make a lot more sense than somebody being on the roof. Even though it seems based on public video, there was in fact someone up there and possibly firing. But as far as the multiple shooter theory, which many people heard, there were bullets coming from other directions. This water tower would be the number one spot I would pick, or I think any sort of military expert would pick as a site to put a gunman if they were going to try to pull this.
People are saying they can see the sniper in this video. Pretty much all of this black right here is a shadow. And it's really hard to tell because the video is so blurry, but let me know if you think you can see a figure peeking out from the shadow.
The chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
There was also this mysterious SUV that was parked right by the water tower the days ahead of the rally. This is the Jumbotron that Trump turned to look at. So if he was turned all the way this way, it could potentially make sense that the shot came from the water tower. I have no idea about the authenticity of this, but Tony Saruga posted on X, "We have tracked the black SUV that had picked up our Phantom water tower sniper that escaped using a zip line via the backside of the water tower into the trees and then on foot a short jaunt to Meridian Road. With 100% confidence based on cell phone data, that particular sniper was FBI and the SUV was registered to the Department of Agriculture."
Okay, good.
Thoughts?
And thank you for bringing that up too, about the cell phone belongs to the FBI, and then the vehicle with the Department of Ag. It's amazing that all of this information is coming out, and it's great that everybody's talking. I think the better part about all of this is nobody's calling them crazy. The conspiracy theorist moniker doesn't hold the weight that it used to. It got wasted, especially when the conspiracy theorists kept on being right. Yeah, I know it kind of destroyed the word and their ability to use it. Kind of like the word racist doesn't have the same weight that it used to. And so now the word doesn't mean as much anymore. As a matter of fact, you can use the word conspiracy theorist as a badge of honor because, well, in the end, they're right more often than not. It makes sense that Crooks was the patsy. He was the Lee Harvey Oswald, like we had seen earlier. And that's exactly what it is. He's just kind of a loner, make him think that he's doing something he's not really doing, and then ends up getting the blame put on him. They don't need to be very smart for that. And probably in the end, you don't want them to be around because, well, they can't talk like Lee Harvey Oswald did. And they already learned from the last time with Kennedy that they didn't need a whole Jack Ruby kind of incident happening too. Tracy says you can figure out the trajectory of the bullet that hit Corey. It'll tell what direction that bullet came from. Yes, exactly. And the thing is when the Secret Service and the FBI are doing all their investigations, these are the people that should be telling us, okay, here's the real deal. And if they had any wisdom to their, in between their ears, and they actually use that, they'd recognize that the people have already figured out enough that there was more than one shooter, that there was the Secret Service should have, without a doubt, been able to respond to the guy that was on the roof, especially when they were looking at him for over an hour. Reports
62 minutes.
Yeah, 62 minutes. Reports by civilians and local police officers, which were apparently out sleuthing the Secret Service agents, but the Secret Service never followed through with it other than to take a picture of the guy. And so therefore, that's all a distraction to keep us from knowing what's going on with the dude on the water tower. And I'm not so 100% sure about what was going on there because it's such a grainy video, but it did look like there was a flash that came from there, at least one that I could see. and it looked like something was moving around, and that's too big for most every bird out there. So what was on top of the water tower?
A
This-
person.
Right. And now we have cell phone data, and there was a Govy vehicle hanging out down at the bottom, and a zip line. There's no zip lines attached to a water tower. I have yet to see a zip line attached to any water tower. So what's going on there? And these are the things that need to be pressed. And hopefully this information will be brought to us by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, but my hopes aren't too high.
Exactly.
Yeah. Optics are bad for the U.S. against foreign entities.
So I want to read this real quick.
All right.
In fact, Hope just asked a question about this. So Laura Loomer,
Mhm.
which I know most people will know who she is. Joe Biden is now in the terminal stage of his illness.
I can
This
see
is what my medical source in DC has confirmed to me. I told you all weeks ago he had a medical emergency on Air Force One and that you'd be seeing resignations. Everything I said is true. Most people don't know Air Force One has a full medical emergency triage center on the plane. There's even an operating room on Air Force One. Just because people don't know these things doesn't mean my reporting was incorrect. It just means I'm ahead of the curve. Thoughts, Santino?
I was kind of reading the comments too. Sorry. I was trying to catch up with everything. Oh my God. I know. I failed. I'm sorry. There's a lot going on. Anyway, well, why don't you tell us?
Read it.
Okay. She's happy. Y'all can tell. The redhead's coming out. All right. Joe Biden is now in the the terminal stage of his illness. I did hear that. And yes, it does look like he's in the terminal stage of this illness because, well, we've seen people who had Alzheimer's and dementia. And when you get to that point, there's not a whole lot left. And then to think that they're sitting there giving him all these meds to bring him back to life. For how long was he back to life when he was at the thing with the debate with Trump? 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. He wasn't his mental acuity wasn't there. I mean, we can give him a good solid 30 minutes and that's the best they can do. Yeah. He's not around for much longer. And they weren't going to have much of a choice to take him out. Cause I don't even know if he would have, I don't even know if he's still going to be with us on this plane of existence before the election is even over, let alone come inauguration time.
Yeah. And they were
Rushed to the hospital today.
and they were Hope was also talking about how the hoe is on her way to see him, and that nobody was there to meet dude from Israel. However, if you go back and look at those two videos of Bibi landing in Washington D.C. and Kamala taking off, it's all bullshit because they landed and took off within like 20 minutes of each other. And one of them looks like it's wintertime and one of them looks like it's summertime.
Well, and we've seen that on multiple occasions where they use stock footage to try to make it look like something's going on that's not actually going on. Yeah, they got a lot of stock footage.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. So.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so the left is losing it, just so you know.
Surprise.
Here we go.
Are we screaming in the streets?
He's dropped out! He dropped out! Joe Biden, please! Gen Z, we need to band together. Please. He was for Gen Z's first president.
Thoughts?
Just truth junkie. Yeah, it's 100%. All those words lost meaning because they wasted them. They used to mean something, and there's a very valuable like sentiment behind those words before they got trashed. But yeah, he's gonna ruin his nails. Silly guy. Calm down. It'll be okay. It's whenever they lose, they throw temper tantrums. This is a temper tantrum through and through. It's an adult temper. Yeah. Emotional damage. Yeah, it's exactly
You
what
just watched the left freaking out about Joe Biden stepping down.
stepping down, not running again. That's what that was about. Just in case you didn't know.
Hmm?
What are you supposed to say to that?
I don't.
Find his parents and slap them.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't have what else. Look, you raised this.
Mm-hmm.
Incapable of functioning in society. They should hang their heads in shame at the very least.
I saw that and I was like, really?
I did assume the gender. That's what I do.
Yes.
It's how we as people work in a society, is to be able to make easy assumptions about things as difficult as whether somebody is a male or a female. But I don't know. I haven't been to college and gone to gender studies, even though there's no such thing as gender. So what do they study in gender studies if there's no such thing as gender?
I don't know.
All right. It's just kind of.
I know.
All right.
You're ready.
Yeah.
I mean,
should be obvious. Couldn't tell if the emo was real or acting.
no, that was
Well, and somebody
real.
said central casting too. I really believe that people are just that emotionally soft that if they don't get their way, they throw a temper tantrum for the world to see. I'm sure he'll grow up eventually.
We'll see.
I hope.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Spirit of the Lord says there shall be one assassination attempt that shall endeavor to destroy the plans that I have for this nation. Look to your vice president. The Spirit of the Lord says tonight, there are major forces of darkness that have endeavored to bring to nothing this nation. But yet I will supply a very special weapon to this nation. And it shall have the ability to see activities of the enemy in a very peculiar manner. This night is a Saturday night. The Spirit of the Lord says, I require that my people stand in agreement with the prophet as he prophesies resurrection to America. Come on!
Thoughts, Santino?
Okay, well, it kind of sounded like he was talking about Project Looking Glass there for a second. Provide a very special weapon that they can use to see what the plans of the enemy are. Isn't that interesting? Now, with that being said, he finished he finished up with
Kim. His first name's Kim.
Yeah, Kim. Yeah, there we go. That's all right. I called him Ken like all one day, like last week or whatever. Yeah, we all have our moments. Look, surprise, surprise, we're human. What a surprise. Anyways, but I like how he finished it off with the resurrection of the nation. And resurrection implies that there was a death. And I would say that this past 4 years has been a death of America. But this death that we've had to endure for the past 3.5 years now at this point in time, let alone the decaying that we had beforehand with the Obamas and the Bushes, et cetera, back however far you want to take it. I'm going to say that this is the time for America's resurrection, and that we are going to come back to life, and we're recognizing the light starting to flare back up again in America because of our revival back towards God. And that's one of the things that I'm seeing in so many different places, to include RSBN, which is acting as a mainstream media source, and they're actually talking about God. They're not trying to suppress that. They're not trying to prevent it. And so this is yet one more of those things. People on the streets are comfortable talking about God and understanding that we're wrong and not getting on to each other about not having all of the answers other than to try to correct people. Obviously, some people are going to be all high and mighty and everything, but I think it's a true revival. And so this resurrection is going of the United States of America is going to be glorious to watch, because it's going to be America coming back together in a peaceful way, so that way we can take the place that we should have never left, but we had to go through the dark so we could appreciate the light. And now we're going to truly appreciate the light that is America. That shining hill, or shining city on a hill, is the direction America's going back to. And that's probably one of the most heartwarming things, because we're starting to see those glimmers of hope pop up, especially even in these trying times. People are staying calm, which people probably normally wouldn't do, but it's happening, and it's happening in a beautiful way. Chop says, elect actual zombies into office and they magically stop looking for brains.
Well, there's that.
There is that.
So I got Sassy. I got 2 videos from Sassy tonight.
Language warning.
Yes. Earmuffs. Ready?
Yep.
I'm fixing to say all the shit. I mean every damn thing. Hide your children, cover your ears, and grab your tambourines. Y'all got a lot of damn questions. I got a lot of opinions. Number 1, was this really a win for Trump? Diaper Dan dropping out? Fuck no. That's as clear as I can put it. But it was a win for America. So no shit's given. We'll be harder on Trump. World was waking up to the Biden bullshit. Took him damn long enough. And that's why he's gone. Now the new bullshit battle begins. After what Trump's been through, I mean, what's Kamala gonna do? Gonna blow him to death? Went from pea pads to fucking knee pads. We went from word salad to Kanatosha salad. The presidential polls to president on the poll. We went from Joe in the hoe to just the hoe. Unless she stabbed him, I think he'd be all right. Number 2, what do you think about Kennedy? Ain't got an Ice Cube's chance in a lake of fires in hell. Stop asking, the answer's going to be the same every time. It's a wasted vote. Alrighty. Number 3, do we really want a woman president? Loaded fucking question. The answer's no, because I'll tell you why. Until that woman is Candace fucking Owens, ain't none of the other ones got the caliber to do it. And I put that on money. The problem with the American people is this. It's not that a woman can't be president. It's that when it comes to the Democratic Party, they vote on identity politics. Fucking labels. It's like consumer advertising. Supermarket sweep, but for presidents. They buy the most inclusive can of soup just based off the label it's got, regardless of what the fuck it tastes like. I don't buy white label products. Let's try this black label soup. Oh, it's made with arsenic. But that's all right. I like the label. Is this a female can of soup? Does it come in chunky? Anything spicy with a gay label? And by gay, I mean happy, clearly. Anything with trans fat in it? I want my whole diet trans fat. The first of everything. Well, never mind, Michael. But you get the picture. And that's how Democrats shop. Those things are whatever to me, but they will supersede fucking qualifications in the minds of the Democratic Party, and that it lies the problem. Democrats vote for a label, not who's fucking qualified. How you think we got Kamala? Joe had to go. So does Camel Toe. I hate to burst y'all's bubble. Pop, let's get to bursting. Woodrow Wilson's wife was technically the first woman president of this country. Miss Edith, she may not have been elected, but she done the duties after his stroke for the entire damn term. And dare we talk about Jill Biden? So take a seat. It's already been done, sis. Where? Which brings me to the next thing. Who will be the Democratic nominee? It will be Kamala Harris. Because Joe was forced to endorse, which he probably don't even know yet. He probably ain't seen that letter he wrote. Like we trust his judgment. 2, she's already got public favor with the American citizens that don't got no sin. You need an IQ test to vote, I'm just saying. And she's the only one that can use that donor money. And that's why she'll be the candidate. You see how it's not about who you want, who you voted for. It's who they want you to want. Oh, but that's not a threat to nothing. No, it won't be gruesome nuisance. It's already endorsed Kamala. Already dealt with a president with dementia. Last thing we need in there is a president with dyslexia. Let him destroy California, where bumblebees are fish. Herder! The crack house, White House, has had enough neurological disorders for a whole entire lifetime, you think? Number next. Do you think all this was planned from the very fucking beginning? You see how that's the question and the answer? Does a bear shit in the woods? Does the beaver have hair on its eyes? Enough said, no other words needed. Number next. Do you think Zelensky is big mad right now? Let me be clear here. I don't give a flying shit fuck. Let him stay big mad. Fuck him and his war that we ain't got no business being in. Number next. What do you think of Trump's VP pick? If meh was a complete sentence, meh. I've seen enough on Netflix to be unimpressed. Fuck it all.
Stop, Santino.
You went over a lot of stuff there. Kamala Harris, you and I have been going back and forth about this for a little while now in terms of what was the backroom deal that made all of this disappear in just an instant? Like, what happened that Joe is okay with Kamala taking over as president, for running for president, that she got endorsed by so many people, not just Joe Biden, but also didn't Hillary endorse her? I think. Did we see a Hillary endorsement?
Yes.
Okay. Gavin Newsom endorsed her, all that other stuff. Now, I do know that a lot of people probably see this as a throwaway presidency, but at the same time, all these people are backed into the corner and they know exactly what President Trump is going to go after. So what's the real backroom deals that occurred that allowed this to happen, to let Kamala take the spot? And that's the thing that's not making sense to me. Normally, you can try to piece together, okay, who's getting what and why are they going to go ahead and support this, horse in the race? And it just doesn't make sense. Like you
I believe it's just they know they need that they can't win.
They know they
And
can't win.
This is a throwaway candidate.
But how many of these people are going to disappear
I don't know.
through tribunals after the fact?
I don't know.
So why are they content with this? Denise says, isn't this a great way to educate people on what should be happening? It is a great time to educate people on what should be happening. But no, we're too busy trying to figure out why things are happening the way they're happening I don't get it personally, but hey, it is what it is. I don't know. I'm still confused as to how everybody just decided all of a sudden that Kamala's good. It's not resonating well with me.
I know.
Maybe when we see who the VP pick is, maybe that'll help out a little bit more. Because I honestly thought it was going to be Cankles and Cackles.
I think it's going to be Bluesome and Newsom.
Bluesome and Newsom? Well, that could be too.
Yep.
All right.
Chop says, unlike Joe, Kamala will not be under impeachment inquiry and able to pardon crimes.
Well, that's a thing too.
I don't know.
Stay up here at the 40,000 foot level? Yeah, pretty much, because getting down into the weeds usually doesn't work out so well. All that speculation anyways, unless you have an inside source, in which case then you become Tucker Carlson. Yeah.
True.
Cankles and Cackles. I was looking forward to that one too. I already have a t-shirt made and everything, and I'm really disappointed.
Well,
Oh well.
it's not over yet. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, I would love to pray for you right now. Can I? But before I do, let me share this, because I've been sitting in this chair for about 30 minutes and I'm listening to all the noises. Some aren't bad. There's a crow, there's a woodpecker, there's dogs barking, there's frogs, there's traffic, there's log trucks that are going by here. And it just got me to thinking, even when we think it's quiet, it's really not, is it? It's loud sometimes. And in this life, it can get noisy. But I'm talking about noise like a diagnosis, a sickness, financial problems, family problems, job problems. So can I pray for you? Because sometimes it's hard to hear God in the midst of that noise, isn't it? So God, right now, we pray that you will speak louder than the noise in our life. God, right now, we pray for clarity in our mind and our spirit. We pray your peace will reign, a peace that surpasses all of our understanding, that it'll flood our mind and our hearts, God, so that we can make the decision today based on your word, based on your voice, not based on the voices that are demanding our attention in this world. May you speak louder than the sickness. May you speak louder than the financial problems. May you speak louder than the boss at work. May you speak louder than our family issues, God, today. Speak to us, God, and give us clarity today above all the noise in Jesus' name. Amen. Love you guys.
Thoughts?
There's lots of noise in the world that's always distracting. Even all this stuff that we end up talking about here, the politics in general, that's noise. And so that's really one of the reasons why we're taking Fridays off too, the why we do Monday through Thursday. And the reason for that is Friday's the beginning of the weekend. And of course we celebrate, our Sabbath on Saturday. But with that being said, it's 3 days, and I feel that we both feel that it's very important for people to be able to spend that time with their family, with their loved ones, and maybe they're not living with you anymore, but that's time that you can devote to either family that's not there, or you can devote it to things that are important to you in that point in time in life. And I think it's very important to spend quiet time with yourselves, to hear the things that you are being told from the inside. The things that are important to you. And I think that it's important to shut out all of these things that are going on, to include the things that doctors tell us, sometimes. I mean, obviously we got to pay attention. They're medical professionals. Granted, they've been taking a real shellacking because of the whole Rona thing. And then the whole, the pharmaceutical industrial complex has given the medical industry a bad name, but they're still good people and they do care. That's why so many of them are there. So it's not to say don't to listen to them, but it does mean that you need to listen to yourself on occasion and really get comfortable with the quiet voices that you hear inside, the ones that's peaceful, the one that's love. Those are the things that are truly important. And those are the things that also have the potential to heal us as well. And so we need to make sure that we're doing that self-care. So make sure you are doing that self-care and taking care of yourself.
Yep. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Why do you...
Massive breaking news. President Biden just dropped out of the presidential race.
Okay, last one today, I promise. But Harry, are you okay? You can swallow now. And not to my surprise, you've already moved on past Biden and made a false claim that Harris is the Democratic nominee, which she is not, by the way. But I can imagine why you would be so excited about that, because I cannot think of anyone. In fact, there is no one here in DC that can teach you how to work your way up the ladder in politics better than Kamala Harris. But what I do want to point out is just how ironic this is. You see, Kamala Harris has been the closest to Joe Biden out of anyone. She sees him every single day. Yet she is the biggest liar of them all, to the American people and to you and the Democratic voters. She told you he was okay. She told you he was fit to run for presidency. She, as well as the rest of the party, stripped you and every other Democratic voter from your right to vote for who you wanted for president. It is now solely in the hands of the delegates, and only 100 days left until the election. Look, pretty much every single bill that Democrats have passed has been pushed through in the middle of the night. In fact, Democratic constituents have had little to no voice in what has taken place in this country the last 3.5 years, and they see it. Now, of course, your blood money is running dry unless you come out and endorse Kamala Harris. But for just once in your life, can you try to be honest? Can you try to be truthful? Not only with the people who you speak to, but to yourself. But even if you can't do that, because I'm sure you can't because you're a Democrat, the Trump campaign is absolutely thrilled if Kamala Harris is the nominee.
Thoughts?
Kamala Harris and Denise said she's more bad news than people realize. She really is bad news. Let's see. Truth Junkie says 40,000 foot view. Indeed, being down in the weeds puts you right next to the fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, etc. All the blood sucking parasites. Yeah, boy, that's the truth. So come on. That's a good one, Mike. Yeah, she'll blow it.
Only in America, Aaron.
You guys are great. I love all of y'all. Y'all make me laugh. Kamala's she's special. She's
Okay,
very
we can go
special.
with special.
Look, that's all I got right now. Is she's special.
Mm.
All right, she's very special. Harry is obviously willing to sell himself for $1. There's no doubt about that. He's going to say whatever is going to pay him the most amount of money. If Trump decided to pay him more money tomorrow, he'd turn, always MAGA forever and always in that moment as soon as he saw the check. That's who Harry is, right? So Harry's going to stick around. Obviously, he's smart enough to realize that he knows that well has run dry and it's time to find another one. So Harry's going to go ahead and switch sides. Kamala hasn't been truthful. She's been working in the background to sink Joe the whole time and try to work her way up. She's pretty vicious like that. She doesn't care about anything other than herself and how she can get what she wants. I love Preston, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Preston. He always he says things that need to be said, and he says them in a way that probably should be said too, kind of political, even though I'm kind of anti-political just by nature. But with that being said, the kid's got no future. He's people are going to see it at some point in time that he's just a snake oil salesman willing to sell anything and everything that's going to make him $1. And so his credibility will be shot. It's already shot by so many people that see the truth. But I'm sure at some point in time, nobody's going to buy anything from that guy. I mean, would you buy a used car from him?
No.
But I mean, his baby face is what sells it. And it's his baby face is the reason why a lot of people would buy a used car from that kid, even though he knows absolutely nothing about what he's doing or life in general.
Okay.
I mean, he doesn't.
I know.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I got sassy again. Earmuffs.
Earmuffs.
So Joe Biden has dropped out of the presidential race. Granddaddy damn. Yeah, well, 4 years too late. Media already trying to spin it. He's a true patriot. Well, I choked on bullshit. Let's just cut to shit. Democrat can't spell patriot. Joe stepped down without the help of gravity. For once, Trump was such a threat to democracy. And Joe stepped down to save it. Yeah, okay, bullshit. Democrats, you in that Bible of bullshit. I give you this, you can spin a story. I tell you what the hell happened to Joe. Joe lost all his support. Playing canasta, run out of cards. Joe checked his last checkmate. The Democrats that mattered, that's the ones with the money. They pulled out like a drunk freshman in the car with a hooker on prom night. Joe was forced to drop out. He had no money. He had no support. And the string pullers say jump. Joe ain't got no choice but to jump. This why we like Trump. He jumped to his own jump. One day you'll all realize some men cannot be bought. Joe was not one of those men. Didn't do this because he won what was better for the country. Joe would have ate a sandwich full of rat shit. Had Jean Jean Pierre tell you how good it tasted. While some of y'all slurped it right behind him before he'd have dropped out. He had to. He didn't get a choice. Drop out or no funding. And damn good about time. So let's not get that confused. He'd have drove his country in the ground. And I mean fucking further. He President Shovel. Got that Biden family backhoe. Everybody from both sides already started. Oh, it's going to be Newsom. It's going to be Kamala. Y'all act like that's a good thing. It don't matter who it is. If it's this bunch of Democrats, it's going to be a hell nah anyway. Ain't none of them in office right now good for this country. You couldn't produce a good candidate anymore. Y'all eat too many edibles or something. Couldn't shuffle one from the bottom of the deck. Get me to vote for one of them right now. Kamala can't do nothing but cackle. Yeah, where you going, Joe? We don't need her burdens on our burden. It has been by what has been. Vice President Book Report, Paragraph Pamela. She speak like a Reader's Digest. She ain't no damn good for nobody. SNL or Comedy Central, something to laugh at when I'm feeling down. Newsom's ass like Midas in reverse. He can't do nothing but bankrupt everywhere he go. That fucker just bleed money. On dumb shit to boot. He ain't no good for nobody. We don't need a bigger California. Y'all can't produce a candidate that is good for this country right now. Maybe it's time to have that talk if y'all quit abort. All your future bloodlines, your candidates. You might have something better to work with. Just drop out altogether. Just end the Democratic race this time. Regroup, have some babies, come back in 20 years. Cut your losses and embarrassment. I won't say one good thing about Joe. Oh, he made an impact. Like a fucking meteor. A fucking disastrous one. A goddamn crater. He made astonishing changes. I'll say none of them's good. Just that we were astonished. Who have y'all got to put up there that's worth a damn? I mean, just look what you got. You got she that's too old to breathe. She who drinks too much. Got your hoe that we know. Hurricane Harris, who can only do good on one type of pole. You had Diaper Dan. No money Newsom. You ain't got shit. That's what I want to know. Next step. I'll tell you what your next step is, to step the fuck off. Get this election out. Y'all done enough damage for 10 elections. Or vote blue no matter who dumbassery has sunk the ship. I'd vote for a dead fish surfing on a tortilla. Would be more productive than the Democratic Party in office. Have more life in it too. I'll end it with this. If Joe is not capable of running his next term, then he is not capable to finish this term as president. Period. Bye.
Oh, we need to keep Joe in place.
Thoughts?
We got to keep Joe in place. He's got to stay there at this point in time. And that's going to work out in our favor. I know that a lot of people got disappointed about the fact that Joe decided to drop out, but I don't think that that's a problem at all, because now they have to show how weak they are. I mean, if you do a search on the most popular Democrats, like, nobody likes them. Nobody likes any of them except for the die-hard, dyed-in-the-wool blue,
Crybaby.
Crybaby.
Joe!
Yeah.
No, Joe!
They'll take anybody that's thrown in front of them that they say, oh, this is a big, brilliant person. Listen to this one. And they'll be like, hail, our new leader. And that's who they are. But it's not enough to bring any swing votes over, especially with how many people are waking up to how much better Trump did. So, and then this assassination attempt only served to bring more people over that were fence riders, or people that were left became fence riders, and now they're going to be voting for Trump. They have screwed themselves in each and every way that they possibly could. It's like Kamala was in charge of the whole thing. It's amazing because they're really screwed now. I mean, I think one of their most popular people at this point in time is Bernie Sanders, but they already stole it from Bernie Sanders at the primary before this one, when Trump was running, because Bernie Sanders was winning, but they also knew that Bernie didn't have a chance. And I think Hillary said something about it's my turn or some shit like that.
She did.
Yeah. So in the end, the Democrats have nobody. It really is a throwaway for them. And then they'll just try to run whatever they can. I don't even know if they're going to be able to put anybody up better than Walter Mondale at this point in time after Trump's next 4 years. And nobody knows who the hell Walter Mondale is. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what the Democrats have. Actually, that's probably going to be one of the most interesting things. Or will there even be a Democratic Party? Now, that's something to think about, because they have been saying for the longest time on the press that this is the end. Trump is the end of the Republican Party. There will be no Republican Party after this. And now I'm kind of wondering, will there be a Democratic Party?
Yeah.
And I think that that's a real question to ask at this point in time, because the most popular people they have, okay, Newsom, worst state in the country at this point in time, just about, considering the resources that are available for the state. Every business is bailing out of it like a sinking ship. The immigration is out of control there. Is there going to be a Democratic Party after this, especially once all the corruption is found out? Because all the main players in it probably won't be around anymore, especially if there are tribunals and we get to see it.
Exactly. Are you ready?
Yes. Q said no Democratic Party. That's
Guess
interesting,
so.
Bill. All right. I'll have to look that one up. I didn't get a chance to do that today.
I know.
Failed.
Well, I got Kelly.
All right. Always love Kelly.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Can I show you something in the Bible today that you might have missed? I mean, I know that you've read it, but did you ever put two and two together? And this is good. Okay, so you remember when Moses was leading the Israelites to the promised land, right? God splits the Red Sea wide open and they walk right through the middle of it. And then they finally get to the promised land, the promised land. That means this land was theirs. It was promised by God. But before they go in to take the land, they send in 12 spies first, just to check it out. So that's what they do. The 12 spies go look at the land and they come back with this report. In Numbers 13, starting in verse 30, Caleb was like, come on, we got this. This land is ours. Boys, let's go. And Joshua had his back. But the other 10 spies, they were like, no way. We can't take this land. There's giants there. They will destroy us. And then we get to verse 33. Pay attention to this. They say, we even saw giants there. And next to them in their size, we felt like grasshoppers. And that's what they thought too. All right. Time out for a second. Did you just catch that? That's what they thought too? How do you know what they think? You're a spy, aren't you? I mean, it's not like they went and had dinner with the giants. You guys think you could beat us? Oh, you'll crush us. Okay. What I'm getting at is, how do you know? Now, before we get to the really cool part of this, we need to realize that this is where some of us are today. God has given us all a promise. He has spoken a purpose and a destiny over each of our lives. But the truth is, some of you today feel so far away from that promise. But for most people, the reason we feel that way is because of this thought running through our heads. I could never achieve that. God, could you really do that in my life? I just don't deserve it. It seems so far away. God, this seems so big. Who am I? And if that's you, you need to understand this. If it's a promise from God, it's yours. Not it might be, not maybe it could be. It belongs to you. I mean, come on, wouldn't it be amazing if we knew what the giants actually thought about the Israelites? Oh, God, if we could only read their minds. Did they really think that they looked like grasshoppers too? Were they so sure that they could defeat them? Man, I wish the Bible told us. But what if I told you it does? You see, to get to the aha moment I'm trying to tell you about, you're not going to find it in the book of Numbers. You've got to move forward a little bit to Joshua. This is why reading your Bible is so important. Now, most of us know the story of Joshua in the Battle of Jericho, right? God tells Joshua he's going to give them Jericho and they don't even got to fight. They just march around the walls and then the walls will fall on their own. And wouldn't you know it? That's exactly what happened. But did you ever realize the Battle of Jericho was the first battle of the Israelites taking their promised land? Jericho is the land they were supposed to take, the promised land. But now watch this. Remember what they said? We felt like grasshoppers, and they thought that too. Now let's check out Joshua 2, 8 through 10. Here we see them sending spies into the land again. And in our text, we see the spies going to stay at the house of a woman named Rahab. Now, verse 8 says, before the spies went to sleep that night, Rahab went up on the roof to talk to them. I know the Lord has given you this land. We are all afraid of you. Everyone in the land is living in terror, for we have heard that the Lord made a dry path for you at the Red Sea. What? Did you just hear that? Rahab is sitting here telling them, we all know you're going to defeat us. We have always known that. We have all been living in terror of you since your God split the Red Sea. You following what's happening here? The land that God had promised them should have been theirs a long time ago. When they first went into the land and spied it out and said, we look like grasshoppers and they think that too, that wasn't the truth at all. But that's how the devil works. All day long, he just whispers little lies in your ear and hopes that you'll believe one. They're bigger than you. You can't win. You've always been like this. Nothing will ever change. God doesn't love you. He's forgotten you. And all that the devil wants is for you to just grab hold of one of those lies. Because if he can get you to buy one of those lies and make it your identity, he's got you. He knows he's just robbed you of the promise that God gave you. But the truth of this entire story is the promise from God to the Israelites was always theirs. Their enemies never thought they could defeat them because they couldn't. And your enemies can't defeat you either. Stop believing anything or anyone that tells you otherwise. So let me encourage you today. Whatever it is that God's been speaking into your heart, the dream, the purpose, the passion, understand this. If God said it's yours, it's yours. Don't believe the lie of the enemy. Yeah, this dream or promised land may be too big for you, but it's not for your God. And think about that for a minute.
I love Kelly.
Santino.
We often will fill in the blanks for the things that we don't know about. And we are kind of trained, I'm going to say, as we're growing up and in school and everything, to defer to something not succeeding. Otherwise, we would be doing a lot more than we've actually been doing as a society. But I have a feeling that that's going to be changing in this rebirth of America as we move forward. And as we turn closer to God, He will give us that spirit of the can-do attitude. We've forgotten that can-do attitude, and it's something that He points out. It's perfect, especially in this time, because there's a lot of fear, and the cabal has been really good at instilling fear in the people, and people are finally waking up to that at this point in time, and we're speaking out when we haven't spoken out for so long, and now people are speaking out, and they're losing that narrative. Why else would BlackRock remove the commercial that they had? That was brought up in the House meeting today as well, with Cheetos or whatever her name is. Anyways, so that was brought up as well, and it's what am I trying to say here? Let me get it together. Hold on, I lost it there for a second. But anyways, we need not fear, and those things come from a place of fear. And when we are in that spirit of fear, we're not living according to the way we should. We should be confident. And he talks about, we look like grasshoppers to them. And the thing that kind of came to my mind at that point is it's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the dog. And that has shown up time and time again. I mean, even when I was working in retail, a small framed little young woman can stand up to a 6'4" dude and dress him down, and he will listen to her, not because she can overpower him physically, but because she is confident in who she is and what she's doing at that moment, and in an effort to try to prevent a theft or something like that. And so it's about that confidence. And it's about knowing that what you're doing is right. And when you know that you're doing everything right, you can move forward with that confidence despite the odds that are against you, despite what your eyes are telling you could possibly be the outcome. Oh, they're giant. They could smash me. Well, no. If it's not supposed to happen, it's not supposed to happen. And if you're doing things in the right manner, then you have absolutely no reason to fear. So let's make sure that we're not in that spirit of fear. Let's make sure that we do have that confidence, especially since everything that we're doing is done from the heart for something greater than ourselves, based in our understanding of the God that we profess to believe in. Do we or do we not believe that this is God's country? We do believe this is God's country. So let's have that confidence that we need to bring it back to where it's supposed to be, and that everything will go according to plan, and that we have nothing to fear from this vapor that is presenting itself to be this mighty, scary thing that we're up against.
Amen.
Thank you, Denise. And thank you for the sunglasses. And I think it was a warship when
yeah, Aaron did the shades, Denise did the ship.
Okay, there we go. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Truly appreciate it.
You ready?
God shed his grace on thee.
Got Doc.
I love Doc.
Let's go.
Yeah, I might break the internet with this one, but I don't give a damn. I love to see these leftist wannabe journalists come on television bragging about these 34 felony charges they got on Donald Trump. And I'm like, why in the hell is this even in the news? As a voter, why in the hell should I be thinking about on who Donald Trump smashed? Even if it was eons ago, before a lot of these people were even fucking born. Okay? How does Trump smashing some random basic chick have anything to do with border crisis, national security, energy prices, grocery prices, gas prices, my life? It doesn't at all. So why should I be thinking about that? The fact that you are thinking about that is a little weird. Okay? These people have basically installed their business in Donald Trump's bed. Again, which is a little weird. I like the guy, but I don't like him that much. Okay, somebody make this shit make sense. The math ain't mathing. The sense ain't sensing. Okay? So somebody make this shit make sense.
Thoughts?
Make what make sense? That he supposedly was with Stormy Daniels?
A basic chick, he said.
Yeah. Okay. And Doc brings up the perfect point. What does that have to do with anything else?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he may not have been faithful to his wife, but with that being said, and that's even an if at this point in time, because even Stormy said that it was like never happened.
Yeah.
And we found out otherwise. So he was doing the right thing. But the fact that they bring up these things that don't actually prove that he's incapable of doing the job of the presidency of the United States, I think at this point in time, we should be a little forgiving on some things, because the way everything's going right now, we can't afford to have somebody who they paint as a choir boy, because choir boy can't remember the songs.
Well, there's that.
Just saying.
Yep. I know.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
I got Preston again.
Biden's out. And let me say, I've never been more proud to work for President Trump in this campaign as I am today. While the Democratic Party is scrambling in their own chaos and are going to spend the next several days trying to plug individuals here and there and everywhere, President Trump, this campaign, and Americans are moving forward full steam towards the finish line in November. But I do have to say, if I was a Democrat today, I would be pissed. I would be pissed that my own party had lied and deceived me into believing that Joe Biden was competent over these last few years. Reality is this: Joe Biden has not been competent since he entered office. Yet every single Democratic politician, as well as the mainstream media, has continued to tell the Democratic voters that Joe Biden is perfectly capable of holding office and running and winning a re-election. They lied to you. They lied and deceived you, just like they have lied and deceived the American people over the last 3.5 years. This is what their specialty is. In fact, the only way the Democratic Party can ever get away with winning is to either A, victimize you, or B, lie to you and convince you that they're going to do something that they will never do. Meanwhile, I work for a campaign that absolutely fulfills its promises and absolutely is for every single American, despite taking bullets to the face. And for anyone out there who is surprised by Kamala Harris being chosen or endorsed by Joe Biden, make no mistake, we knew that about 6 weeks ago. Much love.
Thoughts?
I guess they really didn't have much of a choice but to take Kamala, because the people that were backing her put her there. That was part of the deal. So maybe that's one of the reasons why she's just kind of getting the approval through through the system now. 6 weeks, I guess that sounds about right, and that's kind of one of the things is things really do move slow in politics, but that's because we don't know what really happens behind closed door in the politics. That's one of the things that we certainly need to change moving forward in the future, but that's because we have so few of our elected representatives to actually represent us, that it makes it easier for them to make the backroom deals as opposed to being responsible to the districts that they represent. And that's just by design. See my whole 30,000 bit about all of that, the 30-1000.org. Just a plug because it's a great idea. Anyways, it's politics. It's politics in the end, and we're just going to watch it. And I think that this is one of the things that we should just take as the movie at this point in time, because it's not like we're going to be able to influence anything that the Democratic Party says that they're going to do. Chachi says if they knew that then, maybe they knew the assassination attempt would happen also. I firmly believe that there are some people that knew that the attempt was going to happen. When it didn't happen the way they wanted to, then they just had to, lack of a better phrase, bite the bullet and just go ahead and accept Kamala for where she's at.
Mm-hmm.
And recognize that that might have been their only chance at it, because if they do it any more times, then it will get they'll get a lot more heat from it. I think that they in the game that they want to play, I guess if you want to look at it that way, I think that if they were to try to do another serious public attempt like that again, that it would certainly take out the rest of them.
I agree.
The corruption would be absolutely apparent to almost everybody at that point in time. Just a guess.
Yep, exactly. I'm gonna read that.
Aaron says 17,000% Santino. DJT Media or whatever that stock is called whatever that stock is called. Massive short bets and against Rumble. Serious meat in that sandwich. And you know what? And that seems to be tied to BlackRock as well. Not only did they pull that commercial with the shooter in it, but they apparently also seem to be linked to massive short calls on anything Trump or anything that's been telling the truth. And they don't. Now they're going to have to cover those puts. Denise says, I think they've expected one for several events, but this one presented a better opportunity. It does seem like this was probably the biggest softball that they could have been thrown. Because even here in Las Vegas, there were so many trees around that I don't think that there was anything elevated around that would have provided a good position. And there were so many, I'm confident, plainclothes officers all over the place that that it would have been shut down pretty easy here in Las Vegas. They seem to have their act together out here. Schumann frequencies went nuts. And the Schumann, if y'all have been looking at the Schumann frequencies, I know that Kay and Bethany have had some headaches. I know that there was one night there where like nobody got a good night's sleep. And we checked the Schumann resonance and it was flared up. I don't know that again, that still seems like there's some relevance to that, but I'm not 100% sure on it.
Exactly. Are you ready?
Yes. Pardon me.
At great risk, I will tell you, and pounced on top of me so that I would be protected. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet in a certain way I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that. I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah. Thank you. But I'm not. And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God.
So Trump saying God was on his side, and feeling that, he didn't feel much fear. Oh, what a joy it is to know the Lord is there. He said he stands before you now, even though he shouldn't be there, because of the grace of the Almighty God. God is amazing. And even for Trump to realize that and understand that is truly beautiful. It is nothing less than a miracle what happened to Trump. That thing missed him by less of an inch. The angels were watching over him that day. God had his hand on him that day. And if God had his hand on him, God must be using him. All glory and all praise goes to the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. God bless you.
Thoughts, Santino?
I think that the comments that you were popping up there, 100% on spot. I think that that's what a lot of people recognized at that point in time, that Trump became a very changed man in a very short period of time. And really, I do believe that, and I think that was something that even Kim Clement talked about, is that he won't be when he gets into office, but he will be a praying man by the time that he's done. And I think that he's been a praying man, but I have a feeling that he's even more dedicated to God. And I think he's starting to see things from a little bit different of a light than he used to. And so I do believe that he probably, to me, he seems like the kind of guy that wouldn't want to accept the concept that he would be chosen in any way, form, fashion, or another. And so his humility, and I think that his humility is one of the things that makes President Trump presidential, because despite the fact that he has so much, he's amassed so much wealth, he's in charge of so much, he doesn't have to be a humble person at all. He could get away with being a jackass and people would be like, well, it's Trump. But he hasn't lost his confidence. It's just his confidence now seems to be more reassured than it used to be. And it's more of a humble confidence as well. And so it's nice to see that change. And I do truly believe that he is a changed man now. But then again, you know, getting shot at kind of changes your perspective on a lot of things.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Because he loves me enough where I am not to look back at my past mistakes. He separates me from my sin as far as the east is from the west. That's pretty far. He renews my strength. I soar on wings like eagles. I run. I don't grow weary. I walk and I will not faint. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that includes letting go of the past, the hurt, the heartache, the wrongs that I've done and those done against me. You don't have to live there. Or the enemy would try to convince you that you do. But you don't. Move past it. Don't look back. Leave the baggage where it belongs. And by God, don't go back and pick it up, ever. Set your sights higher. He holds you. He loves you. He has a purpose for you, one that does not dwell on the memory of past mistakes. He is freedom. Run to him and never look back.
Thoughts, Santino?
And very good points, Aaron, in the comments. Looking back, we've talked about this. The only woman that Jesus spoke of in the Bible was about the fact that she looked back and turned to a pillar of salt. So we can't look back. Looking back is not a good thing. And I know that before I started my journey to God, I know that I used to hold on to everything, whether I was talking about it or not. There was in my head, there was a constant string of, you know what they did to me? And it was not beneficial in any way whatsoever. I know that since I've started turning to God, I've recognized, yes, they did that to me, but at the same time, I was acting like a jackass and probably deserved it. And so that, and I recognized that it was all to help build me and make me grow to be a better person than I was before. And so looking back is the least productive thing that we can do, because when you start thinking about things that happened in the past that you don't like, the first thing that happens is your head goes there and then your heart goes there and you remember the negative feelings, and we're trying to get rid of those negative feelings. So each and every time you go back to the bad things that happened in your past, all you're doing is bringing it into the present. And you don't want to do that to your present. There's no value add. Now, granted, you will go through scenarios in life that will remind you of things that happen, and you need to figure out, is this a red flag that I'm supposed to be looking at? Or is this something where it's telling me it's time to let go of this because the circumstances in the scenario are very different than they were back then, because I'm older and wiser and I've been through all these things that I've been through, so that way I don't keep making those mistakes. These are the things we need to think about. These are the things we need to understand about the past. The past is only there to give us an understanding of how not to do things or how to do things as we move forward in the future. And even then, even if they're positive things from the past and they bring you into a good vibrational frequency, they are still in the past. And you should be feeling and thinking about how you can create that kind of life for yourself today and in this moment? What can you be doing now? And so it's all about what we do with them. But we certainly don't ever want to sit there and look in the past and stay in that moment. If it's there to guide us and to influence what we do or to help us heal from something that did happen in the past, then that's what we need to do. But we certainly don't need to live it again. And in the long run, bring it back to your present. And nobody wants to live through some of the miserable stuff that they've been through in the past into today. So keep it positive and keep it moving forward.
Absolutely. You ready?
Yep.
Donald Trump's RNC speech last night was so bad that people in the crowd started to fall asleep.
No, they weren't. But Harry, look, I most certainly can empathize with you. Because right now, as you continue to speak these lies, your presidential candidate and the man who you have propped up over the last several years on this app is currently sitting with his family, having already made the decision to drop out of the 2024 race. Look, my friend, the only thing you have left is to continue to spread lies about President Trump. What I find really interesting about this is you used your source as MSNBC, the exact same news source that spread lies about President Trump's attempted assassination last week and began to spread conspiracy theories. Exact same network that began to spread the lie that it wasn't a bullet. In fact, it was glass from the teleprompter. And just in the past few days, Joy Reid began her absolute insane conspiracy theory that this was all staged. But allow me to say, 28.1 million people watched President Trump's speech in the last night of the RNC. Frankly, it was record-breaking numbers for any Republican RNC speech. And while I steered clear of all social media throughout the RNC and focused on what was happening in front of me, I was not surprised to come on and see that you continue to spread lies about the RNC the entire week. You're out of gas, my friends. You have nothing left. You and your party are completely depleted, and no matter who you put in, we are going to beat them. When we do cross that finish line and we do beat the Democratic Party, look at yourself in the mirror and understand that you are a very large part of Americans turning their back on the Democratic Party and walking away. Because you are about as reliable as the source that you quoted, MSNBC. Much love. God bless. I wish you the best.
Thoughts, Santino?
I mean, Harry is just a mouthpiece, nothing more. He lost his meal ticket. Who said that? I think it was Chachi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Harry's bum. He lost his meal ticket.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. He lost his meal ticket. He's got to find things to talk about. He may not be getting the pay that he was getting before, but he's still got to pay the bills that, because after all, he got that new house because of the, they parked that scary truck outside. Yeah. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, he's got bills to pay. So it's going to be interesting to watch him squirm a little bit more in the future, especially if Kamala doesn't feel like continuing to pay him.
Right.
Because if he was doing that good, then they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in now.
True.
Just saying.
You ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
The greatest man in history, Jesus, had no servants, yet they called him master. Had no degree, yet they called him teacher. Had no medicines, yet they called him healer. He had no army, yet kings feared him. He won no military battles, yet he conquered the world. He did not live in a castle, yet they called him Lord. He ruled no nations, yet they called him King. He committed no crime, yet they crucified him. He was buried in a tomb, yet he lives today. His kingdom is not of this world, yet it lies within the hearts of those who believe. He spoke of love and forgiveness, and his words have transformed millions. He offers no material wealth, yet we consider him the treasure of our lives. He promises no earthly power, yet in his name the powerless have found strength. Though he left no written words, his message has filled countless pages. In his weakness, we find our strength. He continues to invite us into a story of redemption, love, and eternal life. His name is Jesus Christ. If you believe in his message, comment Amen and share this video with someone you love.
Thought Santino.
They gave him all these titles, but he didn't do any of the things that we would have to, like today, see from somebody to give people those titles, i.e., healer, teacher,
Lord.
etc., etc., etc. It goes on and on and on. And so, what is that? Why? Why isn't that in and of itself something that shows the importance of the message and the man?
Yes.
I run into people who are very anti-Bible, anti-God because they've gone through some hurt in their life, and they don't see things happening the way that they would like them to see. And I understand how people can get there, but at the same time, it's easy to fall into that place where you deny that, and because we live in a society where having all those checks in a box so that way you can get this or that or the other title given to you, it's counterintuitive for something like that. So I think that it's very important when somebody is given all of those titles that hasn't gone through all the checks in the box. It tells us that it's an outlier just in general, like life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we should always look at the outliers because there's a lot of interesting things that happen with the outliers. And it's just so happens that this one happens to be the Son of God. And so it's going to be polarizing because obviously they didn't even like him then. So the same types of people who didn't like him then are not going to like him today. And so it makes it a bit more of a challenge to try to get people to see the truth and the reality behind who Yeshua HaMashiach was, why Yeshua was the HaMashiach, the Messiah. And so it's important for us as believers to try to figure out what it is that people need to hear so that way they can at least learn to ask the questions for themselves and to try to find the answers on their own. Because we can take a horse to water, but we can't make it drink. Here, look, it's a whole trough of water. Please drink it. It's for you. No, I would rather, die of, thirst. Yeah, no, I'm trying to help you. No. So we have to do things in a different manner. And that's what's on us to do, is to try to find a way to get more and more people to understand the life-giving that is given through the Word of God. It's just a challenge.
I agree.
But a fun one. Can be.
Can be.
Can be.
You ready?
Yep.
Liberal logic meets a free thinker.
Here we go again.
So I get a lot of this shit. I pissed this one leftist off today on his live because he's talking about this hands-free law, why you're not allowed to drive and talk on the phone. I chimed in and I said, well, we have laws like that because we've got people out here who do not have the human ability to multitask, and these people are allowed to operate heavy equipment. No, smartass. It's because you cannot text and drive. Well, no shit. Benjamin Franklin couldn't write a whole fucking letter while driving the horse and buggy either. I'm sorry, I don't understand the assignment. What the hell are you saying? I'm saying if you are going to drive and while trying to write a full-on fucking letter and type letter for letter an entire conversation to somebody, well, it serves you right. Serves you right to crash your car. I mean, what a dumbass move. You know, there's a thing called telephone. Pick it up and call the son of a bitch. Who talks on the phone anymore? Like, that is so retro. Oh, I'm sorry, Gen X. I'm sorry. Says the guy who is holding a cell phone in his hand and chooses to type letter for letter, comma for comma, colon for colon, an entire conversation when all he had to do was press a button and call the son of a bitch. Yeah, nobody does that anymore. Okay, so Mr. 1980s, Yeah, nobody does that. Oh, I know. People like you don't take the practical route. You don't take the common sense route. You got people crashing into poles of cars left and right because you're trying to write a full-on fucking letter while driving, when all you had to do is just press a button and call them. See? We got to make laws like this because people like you don't know how to fucking multitask.
Thoughts, Santino?
Well, Mike said I'm more in favor of natural selection than laws. Just natural selection is an excellent teacher. There's no doubt about that.
Nobody does that anymore.
Look, you know
What's
how
wrong
mad.
with calling someone?
Well, and even then, you'll see the people driving like this.
I know.
They'll have the phone up and they'll be doing this, and it's like it's a hands-free law. Means your hands are supposed to be free to do the driving of the 2-ton missile that you're driving around.
Mm.
I don't know. I just there's that part to the whole thing.
Thank you, Aaron, by the way.
Yes, thank you very much, Aaron. I do truly appreciate that. He said, fun fact, a horse will actually drink itself to death rather than not drink water. Another lie sold to us through parable. Yeah, well, it happens. But how are they supposed to teach us anything if they're not lying to us? But the hands-free thing, I haven't understood it. I was excited when the law came out. You almost lost your life because of the whole lack of somebody not, they were distracted while they were driving. I know many people have lost their lives because of distracted driving. F. Clem says, I thought it was hands-free to do whatever you want. Yeah, that's how people are taking that, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be funny if that's what people didn't really think.
I know.
And then I saw that, I remember hearing the police officers complain because they were saying, yeah, we can give them a ticket, but they're just going to throw it out.
Mm-hmm.
Every time. They were throwing it out every time. So why make a law that's not going to be enforced? And that's one of the problems. But that's the way things have been working. Is the people ask for something to create a, free and fair society that is considerate of everybody's, individual liberty. Because if you aren't paying attention to your driving of a 2-ton cruise missile and you take somebody out, you have taken away that individual's personal liberty, individual liberty. So therefore, it's a logical law to say, you know what? Every car comes with Bluetooth anymore. Use it. It's sad. It's sad, but it is what it is. Yeah, watch the effing road, not the effing screen. Watch the screen when you're not driving. 3,000 pounds at 40 to 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, and my biggest, and I say this all the time, put the phone down. If you were that damn important, you'd have a driver.
Yeah, if you were that important, you would have a driver.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. Then he says, in the brain, you have to switch between tasks. Even when you check your phone at a light, it takes 40 plus seconds to get back on track mentally. Put the phone down. And I've actually recognized that it'll take me seconds. It'll take me a little bit of time to refocus on a different task as I'm switching back and forth between all the things that are going on. And so, I stick with the hands free. But even then, I'm only partially paying attention to the driving. I know this because I'm trying to hold a conversation while I'm driving. I remember when I was a kid, they used to say, don't turn the radio on. Why don't you want me to turn the radio on? Because you're going to be thinking about the music. You're going to be singing. You're not going to be paying attention. Of course, they also said that you drive around with your window cracked so that way you can hear the things that are going on, which I know a lot of people do. Used to be police officers used to do that all the time. So that way they could hear somebody screaming, help, help. But now they have their windows up, so they can't even hear that. A lot of things have changed. And I think that as we move forward in the future, that a lot of these things will change back just because common sense will dictate. I have a feeling that we're going to start seeing some real wins with common sense in the future. At least that's what I pray for, but we'll see if it actually happens.
Thank you, Denise. I After being in that car accident, just put the damn phone down.
Yeah. If you were that important, you'd have a driver.
Facts. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after President Trump announced that J.D. Vance would be his running mate in this election, Kamala Harris put out this scathing warning to the American people saying, make no mistake, J.D. Vance will be loyal only to Trump and not to our country. The audacity of Kamala Harris to make this statement is off the charts. J.D. Vance is someone who enlisted in the Marine Corps. He deployed to Iraq in 2005, the same year that I was there, during the height of the war, putting his life on the line in service to our country. Was Kamala Harris willing to put her own life on the line in service to our country at any time in the past or now? No, she hasn't, and she isn't. Kamala Harris's hypocrisy continues.
Thoughts?
It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be better at anything because you're a combat vet. But at the same time, it definitely is a trial of an individual's character. And I think that that's probably one of the more important things.
That right
Denise
there.
says, hell, she hasn't even made it to the border. She hasn't. And she's the border czar.
Yeah.
As if we need czars here. I mean, after all, that's just a it's a use of the word Caesar to make the word czar. So why do we have anything associated with empires here in our republic? But that's just me, spitballing here or whatever. I think that Kamala Harris shows everything that's wrong with politics at this point in time, especially with Joe. They show everything that's been wrong with politicians. And we have gotten to a point where you have to be a well-funded doctor, lawyer, or just, I don't know, career politician from who knows whatever you have to do to get nominated for some of these things like Kamala or AOC or name that, politician. It shows how sick the system is.
It's broken.
It's broken. It's sick. It needs help. It needs healing.
Yeah.
And that's because they aren't accountable. And when they're given accountability again is when things will start getting fixed.
Yeah.
First thing that they need to do is be accountable for everything that happens under their watch.
Yeah, I know. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
You can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails, which means it's not about what happens to you. It's how you react.
All right, Santino.
The world is going to happen around us no matter what we do. A lot of people got upset about Trump picking Vance. A lot of people have been upset about a lot of things that have been going on. And a lot of it probably have a right to be angry about the things that are happening. But sitting there being angry and stewing about something isn't going to fix a single thing. So what do? We have to adjust our sails. In other words, we have to change the direction that we're going. We need to be malleable. We need to understand that the world, the only thing that's guaranteed, death, taxes, and the fact that everything's going to change all of the time. So what we need to do is we need to be able to adjust with the changing times. And that's going to be the best way in which we can make the impact in the world around us that we would like to see. And that is to not hold on to like certain Biden voters that are upset and crying in their car with ridiculous nails about the fact that Joe Biden dropped out. That's somebody that needs to learn how to adjust their sails. And so that's a good example of what not to do. But President Trump is a great example of how we should adjust our sails. He has certainly adjusted his sails based off of his recent encounter with the brush with death. But that changing of his sails is looking to be something that's truly beautiful and glorious. And if we adjust our sails with the wind, then our sailboat that we're captaining, because, we are the captain of our own lives. If we are able to learn how to adjust the sails with the wind, then we're able to go further and farther and faster than we were before. So let's make sure that we're paying attention to what's going on around us and making sure that we're adjusting to everything that's happening, not adjusting the very core of ourselves, but adjusting the way we go about living and presenting that core to the world around us. And I think that that's truly the important lesson is you don't change the ship, you just change the direction that it's going. So let's make sure that we're paying attention to what's going on around us and that we're getting the most out of life that we can by making sure that our sails are adjusted to the wind. And with that being said, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net. And I forgot to ask, Kay, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
And if you wouldn't mind giving me a little bit of a virtual hug today, if you are over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up button. If you're over on X, smash that heart. If you're over on Pilled, take that red pill. We love each and every one of you. And we cannot tell you how grateful we are for each and every one of you. We love the fact that you show up. And more than that, we love the fact that you engage.
We do love the
us.
engagement. We learn things here every day.
Absolutely.
Like apparently I found out today that horses will drink themselves to death.
Yes.
All right. Anyways, yeah, thanks for joining us. We do truly appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you check us out tomorrow. And with that being said, we love you all. Have a great night. God bless and be safe.